Well, Unicef says schools must reopen soon. It's been 18 months since the COVID-19 pandemic began, disrupting learning of hundreds of millions of children globally. Now, on Tuesday, the Child Aid Organization will be part of the global education meeting. It will be appealing for decision makers as well as governments to prioritize the safe reopening of schools, this to avoid a generational catastrophe. So let's unpack this with Eastern and Southern Africa Deputy Regional Director, Ms. Lieke van der Wiel. Thank you for your time, Lieke, and joining us this morning. You are saying that the safe reopening of schools needs to be prioritized at this time. And this, on the other hand, while, President Cyril Ramaphosa and the country believes that children still need to at least stay home for a couple of more days, only reopening on the 26th. Give me some of your reasons.
Yes, thanks for having me, because this is really to the core of UNICEF's mandate. The reason is that we've seen that in the last 18 months or so, when the schools were open and closed and open and closed, the impact has been tremendous on the children. It has been an impact not only on the learning, but also on their emotional development. Some of the child protection issues came up. The dynamic in the families have been very tough. Some parents actually had to stop working to stay at home with their kids and to take care of them. So across all society, it has been a really devastating impact. And of course, you wouldn't be surprised to hear that actually the most vulnerable children have been suffering the most. I mean, they have not been able to link up on internet or online as the richer children who have an iPad or a computer. The most vulnerable children often don't have any device, and even if they have, it's shared among the 6 siblings, and connectivity was really a problem. So yeah, the impact is so shocking that we really feel that we need to explain to the world that school closing should be really the last resort.
What's been the impact, Lieke, on, academics? Because the truth of the reality is not all pupils, or at least learners, have access to, resources to able to conduct their e-learning. Some of them really are struggling with the digital divide in their communities. How are they faring at this time?
No, you pointed out the digital divide is very real. I would say, of course, it's not that the government and partners and UNICEF including have not tried to do whatever it could in the last 18 months to overcome the digital divide. There's a number of big programs, there's connectivities in schools. Teachers are going to school to be able to be connected from there, and then they can teach online. So there's different ways of dealing with the digital divide. By no means can we catch up with the divide that was already there and the increased divide that we have seen. The learning we have seen, depends a little bit, of course, on the country, on the region, on the grade of the children, how much support they get at home. But we can really see that the learning has has decreased, so to speak, and not only the academic learning, but also the social learning. And I think that is something that people might not fully understand, that across all ages, being with your peers, being with your teachers, is a tremendous way of learning, not only what the history or your, mathematics, but especially language, especially how you interact, how you manage your emotions. And this is tremendously important, especially for the younger learners, but definitely also for adolescents.
No, I know tomorrow is quite an important day just in terms of conversations you'd be having at the global education meeting. You'll be sending quite a strong message to, not only government, but, decision makers. What's your message tomorrow?
Yeah, so the message is that school closures should not happen as a fallback position. It really should be in the worst case scenarios and only temporary, and that there should be a commitment that even when you close schools at a certain stage, a commitment should be there to try to open them immediately whenever it's possible, and to really see that school closure has much more indirect and longer term impact, which is very detrimental for society and for this particular generation. So don't go lightly about closing schools, but try whatever solution you can come up with to prioritize opening of schools and keep them open safely. And that needs innovative thinking, learning from the last 18 months, cross-country learning, but also some new policy like being a little bit more nuanced when you do close schools and communities, close them where at that moment the transmission in that community is alarming, but keep them open in the rest of the countries where the transmission is not as alarming as in some areas. So to really be much more nuanced and much more deliberate.
Thank you for talking to us all the way from Nairobi, Kenya. UNICEF's Eastern and Southern Africa Deputy Regional Director, Lieke van der Wiel. Thank you for your time.